Look at that, how horrible. Although I did just see it go up from 14.2 to 14.3. How very exciting. How's the ash situation? It's, I can't be bothered to deal with it. That's how it is. Let's see if I do this enough, will it just push the ash down? Paddy Ashdown. That's a name I haven't heard in many years. Wonder what he's up to these days. Is Paddy Ashdown still alive? Wasn't he a member of Parliament for the Greens or something? I don't remember. Very sorry. This weather is not good for one's health. Wonder if the captions will put brackets coughing. I saw a transcript of a video the other day, and it's like half of the video is just and I thought to myself, I mean, I do watch these videos prior to uploading them, just to make sure I haven't said anything doxy like, oh, my address is the following, and my postcode is this, and my full legal name is blah, blah, blah. Because you never know. I've seen enough interactions between people that put videos onto YouTube and fans where I wish to remain anonymous, and that's not an insult to my fans. It's just that some people are dangerous, and I'd rather not deal with them. I'd rather not have them know where I live. Besides, for the content of these videos, it's entirely irrelevant. I mean, if I was like saying a tour guide and be like, let me show you 5 beautiful sights of the English countryside you may have overlooked in your tourist book, then, you know, that would be a thing where it's probably... Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's get a fire lit. I know, I need that at least. And I can take this hoodie off. I feel like a like a pleb wearing it. Very comfortable though. I didn't have a fire lit yesterday, and I was comfortably warm, despite it being 8 degrees in my room. So great, yeah, wonderful. Also meant I was able to get into the kitchen because it's fantastically cold, and we're running low on coal, so I'll have to order some more. And I'm amazed at how quickly we get through it. The bunker holds half a ton, and you think, oh, half a ton, that will last easily 2 months, and then you scoop through it. It's like, oh, that's been a few weeks. Time to get some more in, I guess. Weird. I did say to myself one of these days I'd weigh the coal scuttle and then figure out, oh, well, if we order in 600 kilograms of coal, that's equivalent to this many coal scuttles. And I'm thinking you probably get through about, well, for the main boiler, it's probably about 2 or 3 coal scuttles a day. And then for this one, it's half a scuttle every day. I'm sorry, I'm very, very coffee sniffy today. This weather is atrocious. It's a war crime. Someone should be in The Hague about it. Although, that said, there is a bit of blue sky today. So for the first time in this month, there's some blue sky. Well, that said, I mean, I did come... but I was in Dunkirk then, so I saw clear skies in Dunkirk on the 3rd of January. But that's not this country, that's France. So I'm not sure if that counts. Yesterday, I watched La Femme Nikita, and it caught my eye in the first scene in the pharmacy. I've posted on. In fact, you know what? What I'll do is I'll put a link in the video description to the thread I've made on Twitter showing screenshots from the film, and then things I've noticed in the set design and the props, which make it feel a lot more real than any film I've ever seen from Hollywood. And it's for that reason, even though the character of Nikita is unlikable because she's a psychopathic killer, it makes the film far more engrossing and feel far more real, even though it's got lots of artistic flair. I mean, there's one scene in it with lots of neon signs and it's raining, and I know it's a trope in films, but it's well done. There's nothing wrong with tropes if they're well done, because I mean, the French say nothing new under the sun. So I'll I didn't have the energy to watch it. I was thinking something like a strange statement. I didn't have the energy to watch a film, and it's one of those most passive things you can do. But it's not passive when you're being very eye for detail on things and going, "Oh, I like what the director did there," or "Oh, look at this prop to protect the actress," which you only see for a split second. There's a scene where she's being dragged along from the courtroom, and you're not supposed to see it, but they decided to keep it in because why not? And you can see she's got padding on the back of her bum, which means that, you know, she'd be protected as they drag her on the floor, and she's like kicking and screaming. But anyway, the first scene that caught my eye, and the reason I thought, oh, I'm going to take a screenshot of this and post it on Twitter and go, oh, look, this is a nice detail. In a pharmacy, and I assume it's a pharmacy in France, and it was filmed in 1990, so it's set in the 80s. And it's these apothecary jars. I'm sorry, I'm turning away from the microphone. Apothecary jars, and full of various substances that apothecaries would have, like opium or cannabis indica. And I know these are substances which would be written on them because my granddad has these apothecary jars in his kitchen. And I thought to myself, oh, you know, that's just a funny joke which one of his relatives played on him and say, oh, here you go, Hobbit's grandfather, have these jars. And then I see the exact same jars in this pharmacy. And I start realising, like, well, you know, I always thought, just goes to show how little I know about French and Belgian culture. But what I thought was just like a one-off thing. It's like, actually, no, this is popular enough that it appears in a film, a French film, because La Femme Nikita is directed by Jean-Luc Besson, who then went on to do Léon, Fifth Element, Joan of Arc, Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. Bit of a long-winded title. I liked that film. It didn't do very well in the box office, but I thought it was very enjoyable for what it was. And beautiful, beautiful set designs. I mean, say what you like about the French, but when it comes to doing like grandiose alien landscapes, They're very good at it. Very good at it. And costumes as well. I mean, The Fifth Element, the costumes were all designed by who's that degenerate that was on Eurotrash? Not Antoine de Cloon's. The other one. He's got a French name. Makes perfumes as well. Come on. Jean-Paul Gaultier. That's his name. And yeah, the costumes in it are brilliant. They are just wonderful. So, you know, other people will talk about, oh, the characters do this and the actors did that, and here we see scene composition that sets up the characters and makes the story do this and that, and you know, that's great. People that understand stories, great, but I like the details. I like the little details where, like, whoever's doing props in this film is doing a really good job, and that really appeals to me, and I'm very happy to have seen this film finally, because for ages I dismissed it as like, oh, it's in French, I don't want to read subtitles. I speak French, but there's some words and I'm looking at the subtitles and going, oh, so that's what they mean. Because there's certain phrases and such where I just like go, I'm not really sure how that translates to that, and I find it confusing because if I was just to watch the film without the subtitles, it would be, well, like every time I watch a French film, I understand some of what's going on, but I don't understand all the subtlety because it's my second language, and I was just thinking, there's a stand-up comedian called Paul Taylor, and he's Irish, but he's got a Parisian accent, and he says, unfortunately, because he only spent his first 5 years in France, he is treated like a con by the French. I find it very strange that con is not really much of an insult over there, yet it translates to what you might think it does in English, which is a very rude word. And vous êtes un con. But anyway, Paul Taylor is sort of his life mission, and you know, he's made a career out of it, so fair play to him, is to master the French language. And I think he's recently done a thing where he says, I've given up. You know what? I've spent the better part of my life trying to learn your language, trying to understand all the subtleties and such. And now you go and change the language, and I can't keep up. And I, as a pedant, am very annoyed when people start changing English. I think one example recently, and I don't know how to explain this, but the definitive article of the UK, people are taking out the, so the is the definitive article in UK, and now they're just referring to it as UK. And it's like, but UK stands for United Kingdom, therefore it's the United Kingdom. And there's other examples as well, like some people are going to get upset with this, right? But the Gambia, the Sudan, these have the before their names because it's named after a river. I'm not sure about Sudan. If you know why the Sudan is the Sudan, please let me know. But another example, which some people get upset over, is rebranding the Ukraine as Ukraine. And look, I've been told this by others. Ukrainian, I don't know it, but I've been told that it means the borderlands. And you wouldn't drop the if you're describing the borderlands because it's the borderlands. And you know what? It may be one of those, oh, well, actually, this is an insulting statement, like how Wales and the Welsh is an Anglo-Saxon slur to mean foreigners and stranger. Much like in Belgium, where wallons is a Dutch slur to mean foreigner or stranger, and I'm assuming it's Dutch because I don't think it's French. And the reason I don't think it's that is because Dutch and English we share a similar branch of linguistics. We've both got Frisian in there. And if you ever listen to Frisian, it does sound a lot like Old English. And in fact, when I read Dutch, I sort of go, oh, I understand this language. It's halfway between English and German. And German, because I'm autistic, just makes sense. I can reasonably read German, and as long as it's describing things, I can cope with it. You see, but what was this about? Oh, it was French. That's it. Yeah. So I didn't want to watch La Femme Nikita for a long time because it's in French, and I thought, oh, I'll be like just every other time I try and watch a French film, like Taxi or Asterix and Obelix in French. As you can see, I've got very normy, basic tiers in French culture. I liked Amelie though; that was nice. But no, I'm glad I watched this film, and it's not such a masterclass of the French language that I can't cope with it. So I recommend you watch it. You know, just put up with the subtitles. You don't really need to read along. I think the reason it's such a good film, and it's got these bits which I've pointed out in the Twitter thread, which will be linked in the description below. And if you've been watching this long, thank you. The reason it's such a great film is the director, Monsieur Besson, understands that in film you can show things, you don't have to tell them. And I think that's great. I don't understand what it is with modern directors where they think they must tell you everything. If it was an audiobook or a play, maybe some exposition with the narrator saying, like theatres, you're limited in what the props are. You've got a scene change, and the stage hands have only got like a few minutes at most to change props and screens around. So you have a narrator saying like, we see now the Capua's mansion, and Juliet, was it Romeo, and one of the other is talking with their friend about their love, and we join them now in the midst of this thing. So, narration in those things, absolutely fine. Narration in, say, Blade Runner or La Femme Nikita, not necessary. Look, it's a visual medium, you show people things, and then the audience can go, oh, I see what you've done there. Yeah, things have gone along. Now, you see, I say all that, and then I realise, because this has happened to me before with films, where I've watched a film with someone, and they've gone, oh, why has X done Y? And I was like, I don't know. Why don't we watch the film and see if we can figure it out? Or why do you think I'm privy to some sort of hidden knowledge that you're not? We're watching the same film here. It's like, let's watch the film and see if the director leaves us any clues. So yeah, I am aware that there's some people, they need things spelled out for them because they can see things, but they don't actually see things. Anyway, have you enjoyed what you've seen? Did you enjoy what I told you? If you didn't, or if you did, leave me some engagement. It helps more people see my fire videos. And I think that's mutual, you see, because on the one hand, my ego gets stroked. On the other hand, the audience, there's people, they get to see me lighting a fire and having a chat about things. And it might interest them. And it might prompt me more questions. And from those questions, they might say, oh, I'm glad you like French cinema. Have you seen such and such? I think you might enjoy it. And then I was like, all right, I'll go watch it. And then I'll give you my honest opinion on whether I enjoyed it or not. Final thing, there's a short film I saw. Maybe it was released in the 2000s. It's French. It's about, well, it's less than half an hour long, if that, and it's about a man working in the Paris metro, or maybe it's another metro somewhere in France, and there's a dog, and he adopts the dog, and that's it. That's the film. And there's this beautiful bit of music at the end, female singer, and I wish I knew what this film was. I really enjoyed it. I showed it to my mum. She loved it, and then she said, "Oh, I love this song. I used to sing it as a child." And she started singing. It was rare because I very rarely hear my mum sing, and that was a delight for me. So, do you know what film I'm on about? Because I've tried finding it before, and yeah. Oh, problem is, it's so long ago, I hardly remember the details. Short French film, one actor, one dog. Did he even adopt a dog? Let's say, let's put the dog to one side. It's a man working in the French metro, and it's a short film, and it was probably done in the last like 30 years or so. Toodle pip.